everyone. Welcome to this very special clip. Joining me is Hannah Cranston, Lily Chang, and Kim Horcher. If you guys can remember, Lily Chang actually joined me for a discussion about the Change Destiny campaign and basically women who rebelled, fought against societal expectations to do what they were genuinely passionate about. Lily, just really quickly, let's do a recap for people who might have missed the interview that we did with you. You grew up in China. Your family really wanted you to major in business or law, and you decided, nah, I'm really into writing. And so you really changed your destiny by kind of being an advocate for yourself and doing what you genuinely wanted to do.
Yes, when I was 14, I won a major writing contest. And when the article was published, my teacher was angry because she didn't like what I wrote. Then I decided to give up. And I came to America, became a lawyer, and I went to MBA program, pursuing money and fame. Until 10 years ago, my sister was sick with breast cancer. And I asked her, what wish do you have that I can help you to achieve? And she said, all she wanted is a good night's sleep and see my writing because she enjoyed when she read my stories. And after she passed away, I realized the purpose of life is waiting to die. So we cannot change the ending. Why don't we make the waiting part more interesting? So I started to write again.
Wow, that's a really interesting way of putting it.
Very powerful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So I love the Change Destiny campaign because not only did we get an opportunity to share our stories with you guys, but a lot of you shared your stories with us. And it wasn't just women, a lot of men shared their stories with us as well. And I think it's important to emphasize that, taking hold of your future is not something that's, specific to men or women. It's something that we can all do regardless of our age, regardless of our gender or our background. I want to share some of the stories that were given to us because I think they're extremely powerful. Let's start off with Corinne and what she shared with us. So Corinne writes, I'm 35 and let my dreams go. I got married over a decade ago to an emotionally abusive and controlling partner. I had let the words of my partner and my mother stop me from trying. I was afraid. I felt worthless. Then, almost 6 years ago, I had my son. It was my turning point. I started getting therapy to deal with the anxiety and trauma from, honestly, a lifetime of emotional and some physical abuse. I realized I wanted a better life for my son and that I don't want him growing up to be like my ex or my mother, and I did not want him growing up to be like me. So she actually went out and, got her education, and she's kind of exploring what her interests are and what she wants to pursue a career in. But what I love is, she didn't get discouraged from the negative experiences in her life. She didn't allow that to define her. She moved forward and pushed for something that she really wanted for herself and her kids.
Amazing. And what I love too is that she's back in school now.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us as women we get to a certain age and we kind of think that maybe some of our opportunities are limited. But no, she was like, no, I'm going to go back to school and actually do what I want to do. And I think that is awesome.
Yeah, especially it's never too late because I remember when I was a kid, I gave up piano lesson because I don't think I'm going to be a pianist. And then about 10 years ago, because of my sister, I started to take the lesson again because my teacher told me, by the time you're 60, you're going to be so good. So, it's never too late.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So we have some more stories for you guys. Let's hear from Carol. She says, after 11 years of abuse, I was able to break away. That little Carol did do it, could do it, and did make it. I went back to school to do what I always wanted, work in hospice. I achieved that. I always had to fight through every step of the way. Being a wife and mother and juggling a career presented many obstacles, but I was determined to keep growing my dream. So again, it's another example of someone who doesn't get deterred from negative experiences in her life, doesn't get deterred by society telling her she's too old to achieve new things.
It's so much. I mean, even as an adult now with no children, I think about how my mother took care of us and had a full-time job. She commuted an hour to and from every day. And then this person did that, but also studied while doing, it's so much work and it's such an undertaking. And I feel so proud that she was able to break through and fulfill her life in this way.
You know what's really cool about sharing these stories that I just realized? Because the past two stories we talked about abuse, and you told the story about your sister dying and how that inspired you to really go after your dreams. But I think by sharing these stories, we can inspire people to do that before they kind of hit that breaking point and hit that low point and think about okay, maybe that is something that could inspire us. But these stories are so inspiring that no matter where you are in life and no matter what you're dealing with, go out and get your dreams before it kind of takes that low point to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people, when they're younger, have a little more flexibility. And there are things that discourage you. I mean, I know I got discouraged before I pursued what I'm doing now because it's competitive. And I remember my grandpa telling me, like, okay, you have no connections. You know, your fam.
Too.
Yeah.
It was like, pick something your dad and I have connections in. And I was like, I don't want to do that at all.
Exactly. So my dad's like, yeah, why don't you look into investing in properties? And I'm like, no. First of all, how do you do that with no money? But second of all, that's not what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
So going after your passion is important. And if you're persistent, you will make it. I guarantee it, right? A lot of people, unfortunately, give up. And the people who don't usually have an easier time at succeeding at the career path that they really choose and what they really want. All right, so let's hear from another person who wrote in. My dream was to not have a career and to be a stay-at-home mom. So I got judgment for not being ambitious or not being a true feminist, even though I very much am a feminist. I see many other moms worry about what am I going to do when my kids are out of the house? And they're dreading that day. Me, I'm excited for that day. So I thought this story was really interesting because in the beginning, she's like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, which, by the way, if that's your dream, go for it. I mean, it's hard work, it's really difficult, and it's important to be a good mom, to be there for your kids. So I admire people who want to be stay-at-home moms. I know I couldn't do it. It's too hard for me.
I think feminism has become a little bit of a confused thing because the point of feminism, and I think the point of this is to make your own choices for yourself and what you want to do without having someone else tell you what you should be doing or what you are. You decide that. So yes, that's perfectly acceptable in every way, and in every definition of the word feminism.
And also, I think that mainly is we're so afraid of other people's criticism. And they're so afraid of how people think about us. And then my personal experience, after so many years that I've done so many things, I realized nobody really cares what you do. So to have a dream, to me, is about sharing. You want, if you have a dream, you need to speak out. And you need to share your dream with someone, everybody together. That's why it's so important to do this.
And go after what's going to make you happy and what's going to make you fulfilled. And if being a mom is that, or being a writer is that, or being both is that, then go after that.
Totally. And it's really interesting because she started off by wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, and then later on she decided, okay, well now I have a different dream. When my kids are out of the house, now I'm gonna pursue something else. And so your life changes, you go through phases, and you might live out one dream and feel like you've succeeded in it, and then you can kind of switch gears and pursue something else. So I really loved, her perspective and what she's been experiencing in her life. All right, so finally, let's hear from Abimael, who's from Massachusetts. This is a male viewer who wanted to share his story. Here's what he had to say. When I graduated high school and got my diplomas in both academics and the electrical field, I could have pursued that. I know there's money in it, but that isn't where my heart was, and I know there's money in music too. And here I am 4 years later. I'm still teaching and helping kids 10 to 18 years of age to not be afraid of the stage and help them express themselves for who they are artistically. For anyone who feels that they have no control over their own destiny, it's the opposite. You and only you can control it.
That is the best line. That is the best line. You and only you control it. That is so true. And you have the ability. I think people feel like they can't make those decisions for themselves, or they need some sort of they need the approval of others or the support of others. But if you work hard enough and you try hard enough, you can achieve whatever you want.
I really liked, on a personal note, that he said that he chose to be teaching, particularly theater, and helping kids find themselves. I don't know if you picked this up, but I have a little bit of a shyness streak, and when I was a kid, it was crippling. And I got over that through years and years of middle school and high school theater, getting on stage and talking in front of people. So thank you for helping kids at my level of awkwardness feel better about themselves, Abimael.
I love it. I love it. And also, Kim, and I think this kind of applies to all the women on TYT Network. I feel like we've grown a lot through doing what we do, right? And I think that we might have entered this company with, certain ideas or perspectives, even ideas of ourselves. And I think working in this field and kind of pursuing what we want to do has taught us a lot about ourselves, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
100%. Right. So that's why I think to have a dream is to know your own identity. to know what you really want. And then the dream can start with small. Not necessarily everybody needs to be president of the United States, but you can be a helpful person in the community. You can be a council person. That you start from small step, and then you go toward the process. Since we're going to die anyway, so as long as the process fulfill your destiny, then I think that's the dream for me.
Yeah, enjoy your life and do what you love. Well, I hope these stories inspired you guys as much as it inspired us. If you want to read more stories, you can go to Twitter and look up the hashtag #ChangeDestiny. So many people shared so many interesting perspectives and life stories, and I highly encourage you guys to check it out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.